Hi folks, Doc here, coming at you semi-live from Area 51, sitting on the first Murray that I've owned. Yeah, for some reason, as popular as these things are, and for as many people that have them, I couldn't find one. Anyways, I found one. As I alluded to in the prior video, this isn't quite what it looks like. It is now, I guess. This had that weird bug-eyed Pontiac Solstice looking hood on it, and that's been changed for, the hood that I like. Anyhow, what we have here is a new project. It's going to be one of those long-running things where I do a bit at a time when I have free time. And I've decided that since these things are fairly popular, and you've seen some of the other YouTubers, and I mean the top of the heap in pretty much anyone's mind goes to Fearless Front, making, something out of one of these things, be it a mudder or a romper or whatever the case may be. And I thought it would be awfully interesting if I did one. And part of the reason I wanted to do one was to, again, kind of break away from the mold and do things doc style, that I tend to blaze my own trails. So I thought it might be interesting for folks to see, my take on what I might do with one of these things. So, with that being said, let's take a little walk around. I'll go over what it has and what's currently wrong with it, and what I intend to do with it. Stay tuned. Alright, so here it is in all of its glory. Don't really know where to start. As you can see by the questionable paint on the hood, the hood came off Steve's Racer, and all he did was paint it black and then spray paint the numbers on it. And I accidentally spilled something on it the other night there that was doing a pretty respectable job of taking some of the paint off. Ultimately, I am going to repaint this whole thing, so it doesn't matter. I just wanted to see what that stuff would do. Alright, so listen. In no particular order, we've got some body damage to deal with. Just bring the camera in here a little bit closer. You can see that rear fender on the right hand side is dented in. I've already pulled it out partially, but I'm going to have to pull the body pan and dolly it out a little bit better. That was, only so much I could do with a pair of flanging pliers, but I got it out some. This thing came to me without a seat, so I stuck a seat on it for now. Whatever. I dollied a couple of dings out of the hood, and there's one more smash mark here down low on the footboard on the left side. You can't hardly even see it at this point. It was dented in pretty good. I got most of it out. The tires are rotten. Look at that weather cracking, eh? Can you see that? Nasty! Anyways, tires are done. They're holding air at the moment, but they're just ugly as sin. Let's get to some good stuff. Moving the camera down and into a completely uncomfortable position. See if I can get you focused in on that sticker. That is in fact a Peerless MST 206. I like that. And popping open the hood, you can see it's got a single cylinder Briggs & Stratton 16.5 horse rated, and that's a bit of a giggle, overhead valve engine. Now that is, let me flip the camera over here. That's a Model 31. I don't know if it's focusing, I can't see in the viewfinder. And as always with the Briggs engines, these half horsepower rating, 16.5, as far as I'm concerned, were just a marketing ploy, because you can get a 16 horse engine, for example, also as a Model 31. I think my 15 that I've got stashed in the back that I used to have a mule was a Model 31 too. So anyways, I mean, they just kind of stuck a sticker on it, called it good, and everybody got all hot and bothered to buy it. You can see the muffler's missing off it because it was completely rotten. So rotten, in fact, that it melted the right-hand headlight on the other hood. So that came off more or less immediately and had to go bye-bye. It does run. Took a little doing. The fuel is stale as all hell. It's actually running on that stale fuel. When you open the cap, it's brutal smelling, but it's actually running on it. It's actually kind of impressive. The ignition switch is trashed. In order to start it up, I've got to bump the relay, and I might do that for you. So, since there's no battery in it, I've got an old and ailing car battery here. I've got some booster cables, and just going to attempt to fire this thing up, old crappy fuel and all, and see what happens. don't know if that ground's going to cut it, but give it a shot. Neutral, yep. Don't think the choke linkage is adjusted quite correctly. Last time I did this, it took a little abuse. But we'll try. And it conked. But yeah, the fuel in here is older than hell. It stinks. I'm amazed this thing runs. But it does run. It does run decently. However, that being said, it's probably coming out. So modification number one was stabbing this hood on there. And as I mentioned in the previous video, and I'll edit in a couple of shots of the other hood. When this hood was put on, in place of that bug-eyed Pontiac Solstice hood, it was sitting too far forward. Looked a little ridiculous. Anyways, long and the short of it is these hood mount brackets up front here had to be shortened by 3 inches. These 2 bolts here, I plotted the bolt holes 3 inches further forward than they were, drilled the holes, and then cut the excess off the bracket. And here's the excess right here, so you can just kind of see where it was. I was actually facing inwards. But yeah, that's all I did, was I moved the holes 3 inches further forward, cut these off, stuck the hood on, and now it's sitting in a place that I like. Second modification, if you want to call it that, was this steering wheel. And this steering wheel I've had for years. It was on one of my old go-karts, and it was chrome and rusty as hell, and it looked like caca. So just for kicks and giggles, I buzzed it with a wire wheel and shot it in that Chevy engine orange enamel that I've got lots of, and you know, is appearing on things all over the place, including Commando. I bought like 4 cans of this stuff on clearance, and I love it. Anyways, shot that on there, adapted the hub to the shaft. That's a spline shaft. I'll just go a little overhead here, and you can see there's actually a key in there. I just grabbed a grinder, shot a keyway in there, and stabbed the hub on. The hub has set screws somewhere here. Rolling the camera around, I think one of them might be obscured by that bolt. Yeah. And there's the other one. Anyways, yeah, so I put a keyway in there and jacked down the set screws. It's a good fit. I like that steering wheel. I like it a lot. What's better than a Briggs overhead single? A Briggs overhead twin. Yeah, that's right. This Vanguard that I scored. God, I love these things. Anyways, pretty sure I'm going to wind up stabbing that thing in there. This is a good engine. Full pressure lube. It's got the 18 amp charging system. The whole shebang. Gotta love it. That's going to make its way into there, methinks. And you know what else is going to make its way into there? That's right. This 820 Peerless transaxle. Yep. Nice and beefy. 1-inch axle shafts. 5-bolt hubs. 5-bolt hubs. Yeah, that's right, folks. That's why I wanted to score these wheels right here. They're 8x7 5-bolt trailer wheels, and that will allow me to put 8-inch rear tires on the back of this thing again. Yeah, I know, I'm not getting stupid with the tire size. And those rims will allow me to put whatever 8-inch tires I like on the 5-bolt hubs, and you know, everybody knows I like a bolt in. So let's talk overall game plan here. What am I actually doing with this? I mean, yep, I'm probably going to scab in the Vanguard, and I'm probably going to scab in that 820. What am I doing with this? Well, as you know, Mule was a utility machine, and it wound up, you know, going through a couple of incarnations and changing parts and pieces and components, and you know, it had a pretty long run. I went through multiple engines, multiple transaxles, multiple sets of tires, and I had planned, as you know, to completely revamp it and turn it into, you know, a romper or a rally machine, as you will. And I had it in the shop a few times staring at it. I actually cut the rear section of frame out, discarded it, and replaced it with a piece of another frame because I found a bend in it. I don't know how I did that. Anyways, as I was staring at it, things just were not coming together the way I wanted it to. It had that big burly front axle on it that I built, and the rear frame section I scabbed on from a full-size Craftsman GT, so that was heavy as hell. And ultimately, at the end of the day, things weren't gelling with me. I couldn't come to terms with what I wanted to do with it. So Mule, for now, is just a side, and if I ever do anything with it again, that's fantastic. If I don't, it owes me nothing. I had a good long run with Mule. It did what I wanted it to, and I had a blast. Learned a few things, too. So, back to this thing. I've decided that this is going to be a rally machine, or a romper, whatever you want to call it. Just a basic fun toy that's going to go faster than stock, be able to tackle some terrain. It won't be a mudder, but, you know, an all-terrain lawn tractor, something I can have some fun with, something I can hit the trails with, a little bit of mud, whatever, and just have some fun. I'm going to do it a little bit dock style in terms of, okay, I'm going to kind of touch on some of the elements that some of the other Murrays out there might have, and some of the things are going to be done completely my way because I can. I have decided to name this project Fugazi, and anybody that has seen the movie Donnie Brasco knows what Fugazi is, and I chose that name because of the fact that, because of the different hood, it's not quite what it seems. And I kind of like the ring. So, Fugazi here is going to be a romper, it's going to be a rally machine, and let's see what I do with this thing. This actually ought to be some good fun. I'm kind of looking forward to a simpler build. Something where I can just, you know, do wheels and tires, transaxle and engine, you know, some bumpers, a foot throttle like usual, and just basically beat the crap out of. I'm already thinking of paint schemes. I might do that early in the game just to have it done, because I usually leave paint till last, and some of my projects run so long that the paint never quite happens. Anyways, here it is. I give you Fugazi. So with all that laid out, thanks once again to my local friend and, you know, one of my part swapping buddies, Steve, for A, bringing this project to my attention, B, digging it out of the heap and loading it on his trailer and actually delivering it for me, and C, taking that fugly hood off and giving me his hood. Dude, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the hood. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know, I probably would have just set fire to it and called it good. Anywho, that being said, thanks once again for tuning into Sprocket's Garage on YouTube, and subscribing and sharing and all that stuff. And don't forget, you can go to sulphurcitydesign.com to feed your adhesive addiction, get some dock stickers and hoodies and t-shirts and all that carnal good stuff like that. And until next time, take care of yourself.